How full is your self-love tank? Is it running on empty where you feel like you're constantly on the verge of breaking down? Or do you know how to say yes to yourself? How to make yourself a priority? When we're willing to give to ourselves first, our love tank overflows, and only then can we truly give to those around us. In today's episode on I Love Me, the podcast, we explore why it's absolutely essential that you are at the top of your priority list.
Love, 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 I love me.
Simple, inspiring lessons in self-love. Hey beautiful, it's Tamra here. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know that for me, self-love is a way of being with oneself. It's a way of doing life based on some core beliefs about how worthy and deserving we are of love. And one of the ways we demonstrate this love for ourselves is by making ourselves a priority, by saying yes to ourselves first. Of course, if you're not used to doing this, saying yes to yourself can feel really quite difficult. Selfish even, if you've been brought up in a family that's taught you that to give to others at the expense of yourself is how to be a good person. But here's the hard truth. If you're not full, in other words, if you're depleted because you're always giving to other people first, then you'll have less energy, less time, and less capacity to fully give to someone else. You see, if you're running on empty, if your self-love tank is nearing the bottom of its supply, then think about it. How much do you really have to offer another person? Imagine you're driving down the road and you run out of fuel. You're stopped, stranded on the side of the road. Who can you help now? No one, because you're kind of stuck where you are. You didn't stop to fuel up your love supplies back at the last self-care service station. If you really want to be of service, if you truly want to give and be a good person, then you need to give to you first. Now, when you have a newborn, this is way more difficult. For a certain amount of time, while that baby relies fully on us, we do need to give a lot. But we also need to have resources we can rely on to give to us. Maybe you get a cleaner. Maybe you have a family member or nanny just to take the bubba for 30 minutes, maybe an hour a day, so you can have a dedicated time to nurture you. Maybe to do some restorative yoga, meditate, go for a gentle walk, have a bath, or catch up on some much-needed sleep. Something that fills you up so you can continue to be fully present and fully available for your little one. Because let's be honest, if you're cranky, if you're lacking sleep, if your body aches because you're not caring for it properly, then this will hinder your ability to give, to be present, to love unconditionally. We need to love ourselves unconditionally. We need to honor ourselves and know that we are so very worthy of large doses of love each day just because we are. And in doing so, in giving ourselves the time and space we need, we can be of greater service to those around us. Let's take the person who is always doing everything for everyone else while at the same time running on empty. You say yes to everyone else without ever considering your own needs. It may feel like you're being a good person, but two things are happening here. One, the person you're dropping everything for to help, you may actually be disempowering them. You see, when we give to another person, except in the case of a baby or a very ill or elderly person who literally needs our help for their survival, except in those cases, it's very easy for someone to rely heavily on a person, So much so that they never learn how to look after themselves, or they lose their ability to look after themselves. I think of my parents and my dad. While I love him to bits, for many years he never learnt how to cook, like anything except toast. So he was completely reliant on my mum. And mum catered to this, thinking she was being a good wife. But in not expecting my dad to cook ever, she was disabling his basic ability to be able to cook for himself, which one could say is an important survival skill. Take a small child who is learning to dress themselves. We can keep dressing them as they grow older, and I certainly have done this because my son is so cute and I want to help him. But in doing so, it's very easy for a child to become so reliant on their parents to do things for them that they get to school and don't know how to rely on themselves. In this way, we want to give people the space and love to become self-reliant. That doesn't mean we never help out, but we empower them by allowing them the space to learn how to help themselves, to develop new skills where necessary. And in doing so, we take the pressure off ourselves. We give ourselves more time to make sure our self-love tank is not only full, but overflowing. And then when it's overflowing, we suddenly have so much more to give to those around us without running into empty zone, where we become at risk of burnout, of breaking down physically or emotionally or both. And this is what happened with my mum. She was always cranky, always taking out her emotions on me because she wasn't taking time for herself. And I know sometimes it feels like there just isn't enough time to fill up our own love tank, especially if you're a mum of 5. But this is where you need to call in help where possible. Delegate, become really good at time management. And in all honesty, if you give to yourself, you'll find you have more time because you can be far more productive and present when you're running on a full love tank. I'll share more on creating extra time in a future episode so you can see exactly how giving to you benefits you and everyone in your world. But let me get to the second danger of neglecting yourself and thus letting your love tank run dry. When you say yes to others at the expense of saying yes to yourself, it's very easy to become more judgmental or critical of others, maybe even jealous. You'll see other people doing the things you want to be doing, and you'll become cynical and go into comparison mode. You'll feel like you're in competition with the world, and this is the complete opposite of self-love. In fact, when we start to feel this way, we become less inspired, less compassionate, and more negative towards both ourselves and others. To break this negative pattern, there are 2 things we need to do. Firstly, look at your daily to-do list or how you plan your day. Once upon a time, I'd get up and answer all my emails and then give to me. Problem was, sometimes I'd end up spending way too long answering emails, essentially giving to others, and then run out of time to give to me. This wasn't sustainable. The way I rectified this was that I got up, had a glass of water, and then spent 20 to 30 minutes tuning in, a practice I do to help center myself and clear the limiting beliefs that could bring my day unstuck. Then I would answer emails. This new way of starting my day, giving to myself first, meant I could answer emails from a clearer, more present space. If you can give to you first thing in the morning, not only does it fill up your love tank for the day, but it also helps you be more productive, much more centered, more calm, and have much more clarity. And it means you won't run out of time to take that time for you. So whether it's a meditation or yoga practice, maybe some journaling or going for a walk, whatever it is that tops you up, see if you can place that activity early in your day. Back in episode 3, Fill Yourself Up with Love, I taught you a 5-minute practice called the Love Wrap. This is a great way to start your day. I'll pop a link in the show notes. Sometimes first thing in the day doesn't work, but how early can you take some time for you? Then make that a priority. Schedule it into your day planner or diary and let it be something that deserves a place in your life. Right now, in my work life, my writing is my priority. So as soon as I sit down at my computer, I write, sometimes for a couple of hours, because that is what feels nourishing for me right now. And then I answer emails, have sessions with my clients, and do the washing and whatever other work and house chores I need to get done in the day. This way, I feel full. I'm not resentful of cleaning the house. I don't get distracted by an endless to-do list and put my writing last. I write. I prioritize what I feel I need. So if there's something you're working on outside of your day job, can you prioritize it in some way? Can you schedule it in? Make it a priority. If you want to get fit, where can you carve out some time to move your body in a way that feels good for you? I like to sleep in, but I've now learnt that going to bed earlier so I can get up earlier helps me prioritize me. So sometimes we need to be willing to make these kinds of changes to how we live our life so we can commit to those practices that will fill up our love tank. But I will say this. The earlier we schedule in our self-love activity or practice, the easier it will be to commit to it. Your mind will be fresher, you'll be more productive and more centered than if you try to cram something in before bed. And whatever you do, give up the guilt if you don't get through the other stuff you would usually get through in a day. You don't need to feel guilty for giving to you first. Because like I said, when you give to you, everyone benefits. Secondly, when you get asked to do something to support someone, check in with yourself before saying yes. Ask yourself, am I full? Or do I need a self-love top-up before I give to this person? Be honest. If you're feeling run down or stretched, then let the other person know that you're full up right now, but you'd love to help out another day when you have more space. Then go give to you. If you're not sure in the moment if you can commit to what the other person is asking, it's okay to answer, I'll get back to you, I just need to check my schedule. Practice saying yes to yourself over saying yes to others and watch how your relationship with yourself grows stronger. Obviously, this isn't about abandoning a person in true need. If there's a baby crying in the other room, then you need to attend to that or line up someone else to care for your child during that time. This is about really evaluating whether that thing or person can wait. How urgent is this really? And just because your boss or friend says it's urgent doesn't necessarily mean it's actually urgent. So if this happens with the boss, for example, maybe ask the question, when exactly do you need this by? People will just expect everything to be done now without taking a moment to consider what the true timelines are. There are many times when my house has become a complete mess, and I do like a clean house. But sometimes I just got to let it go and go have a sleep or a lie down instead. They're the sorts of decisions we start to make when we realize that our mental and physical health, our relationships, all rely on how full of love we are. If family come over to a messy house, but you are so present and loving with them, they're not going to care about the house. And if they do, that's their issue. Tell them they can clean it if it's really upsetting them. But if you take the time to clean the house at your expense and they arrive to an exhausted you, then chances are you'll snap at them, be emotional, and create disharmony in your relationships. You come first. but you can only allow this to happen if you're willing to make you a priority. So, take some time this week to reflect on what it means to make you a priority. How you would feel about saying yes to you, even if that meant saying no to someone else. Because a lot of the time when we say yes to someone else, we're actually saying no to ourselves. And that is not self-loving. So say yes to you first. Practice doing it. And that saying yes to yourself muscle will grow. It will become easier. Your self-love tank will start to overflow. And then you'll find yourself with more time, more energy, more ability to say yes to others. And only then can we be of true service. Thank you for saying yes to yourself today and listening to this episode. I'll be saying yes to myself and my family and taking a 1-month break to hang with my son during his school holidays and hibernate through this glorious winter here in the Southern Hemisphere. Then I'll be back to kick off a brand new podcast season on July 31st. So until then, practice saying yes to you. And if you haven't listened to my previous episodes, go back and let them inspire you into a new way of loving yourself. And even if you have listened to them all, I invite you to listen to them again, apply what I share, take those practices and ways of being to a whole new level. Because that's the magic thing with self-love. You can always love yourself more. And as that love for yourself expands, you'll notice how your life becomes even more vibrant and alive with possibility. Use these teachings because they work and because you're worthy of love. I'll chat to you in a month. Thanks so much for listening. And if you're loving what I'm sharing on I Love Me, the podcast, and want to dive deeper into self-love, take a peek at my online school, gettingnaked.com.au, where I teach you how to strip off the layers of childhood conditioning so you can fall in love with you. Sign up for your free self-love starters kit there. And if you do enroll in any of my programs, know that a percentage of profits go to planting trees so together we can re-robe Mother Earth.